realistically, if you come from industry A and you want to go to industry B, is it as easy as it sounds? And the way it sounds is, well, I know I was effective here, and I know I've got, mad skills here. Can I easily do this here? And if I can, how do I get people's attention around me from the industry that they never thought I'd come from?
Right.
So what do you do?
So you are always most marketable in the industry of which you serve. Always. Because that's quite frankly what we get paid for, is to go out to the competitors and bring in the top talent. So you're always going to be most marketable there. But there are non-competes. I mean, there's all kinds of factors that factor into you being able to do that. So what I always say to a candidate is, if you completely want to get out of the industry you're in, you need to look at the circle of influence companies. Because if you go from here to here, you're probably not going to get any attention. Even the best of recruiters are going to have a hard time kicking open that door. But let's say you're in general contracting construction, because part of where I started was in construction. But you are open-minded to being a leader within a subcontracting environment, or an architect environment, or building products environment, or equipment sales leadership. All of these things, what you know still believes that information is still of value to that company. Same thing if you're in insurance. And, so you could go to healthcare, you could go, so you're a service industry, right? Start thinking about service industry businesses that are similar in their sales model or their business model, and then go to that type of company. You can't do the whole over the rainbow, has nothing to do with what you've ever done, because it is, not only do you have a hard time finding a job, you can never recover the kind of money you're making. And I tell people this too, and this is part of the book. It's that whole really thinking through retirement, the benefits you'll lose, the likely compensation you'll lose in the beginning, because it's rare if somebody truly wants to change careers, like completely flip over their leaves and do something completely different. It's rare that you will keep the same money. Now, you can still make good money, but you're not going to be the gun that you're maybe used to with all those years of doing exactly that thing.
Yeah.
And you have to be okay with that. You have to go in, again, don't take a bad haircut, but you have to go in with the willingness to have that conversation and say, okay, if I do X, I'm willing to take this, but if I do X for you, because these are the things you said, what success look like year one? You should always ask the question, what does the win look like? If I hit that, what would my compensation look like year two? And ask the question. People are so scared to ask those kind of questions in an interview. And I got to tell you, that's what I want, someone who's critically thinking through their career and their life. I don't want somebody that's like, oh, you're so nice. And this culture feels so good. I didn't ask a damn culture question, but your culture feels so good. And all of those things. If you ask really thoughtful, not negative, but if you ask really thoughtful questions, they're going to go, this person, they're smart and they know. And you just set it up where I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to take a step back in my compensation, but I want to know from you that if I achieve those 1-year goals, you're going to put me back similar to where I was, or what you would have compensated the person who was from the industry, whatever. And I think it's a good way to tee it up.
It is, and I'm loving this because it's so critical, right, to signal through all of your marketing, as well as your story of yourself and the difference you'll make, to signal to the right people what you want. What do you most want? If you're unclear about that and you're kind of vibing off that I'll just take anything and I'll start anywhere without a view of your horizon, that's a bad move, right? But when you're clear about what you want, which along with that goes, I know what I'm willing to sacrifice to get what I want, that's a powerful candidate, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a balance between what I want and what I offer.
Yeah.
I had it, and I recently interviewed a person that was a kind of a good fit, but not a dead-on hit for a not-for-profit, because we do a lot of not-for-profit works. And she was very demanding with me on, here's what I will take and here's what I won't. And I basically turned it into a coaching call. And I said, I'm going to give you a little bit of coaching if you're open. You know my line, Tony, permission to be candid. I always say that. And I said, here's how that felt when you demanded that this would be the case, as opposed to saying, here would be my goal in us working together. It's all about delivery. It's the same message, but how you deliver it is really key, because you don't want people to think you're going to come in with a list of demands either, because it's still their decision. So you want them to feel like this person is going to be collaborative and not come in with a list of demands, but just really that clear, I can do this, I can make that goal, I can make you happy. And if I do that, then will you agree that we'll revisit my compensation and we'll talk about where you would have paid somebody who came from the industry, so to speak.